Hello everyone. Sorry for the delay. I had my intro going, but I realized I didn't press the go live button. So, um, you had to wait 2 minutes. I apologize for that. All right. Let's see. I got my coffee, got some water, got my microphone with mute button so I can sip coffee. And ready to go. So let's see where I left off, because it's been a long week at the day job, and I think last weekend I don't even remember how much work I got done, if any. It's been a couple weeks. It's been lots going on, and so I kind of forgot what I was doing. I did cheat earlier and click on this to kind of remind myself, but I'm gonna remind myself because there's some cool stuff here. All right. So for those of you who've been following along, we've got the game here. And if we go into our inventory, hey sir, 7 attendance check, gold star. So we can try to give this magic spell. Oh, I want to be able to right click on this to give details. That's what I want to do. Try.
I can't learn this spell.
Right click that on
This
these.
will come in handy.
Oh, well, she could learn that one. Okay. Well, one of these.
I already know this amazing spell.
Yeah, so she already knows that spell, but
This will come in handy.
of course.
I can't learn this spell.
This will come in handy.
So they can all learn their own spells.
This will come in handy.
Just by right clicking down. Now you can pass these just by left clicking, so that they can, and then
This will come in handy.
Here. So right click, left click matters. And then this is the cool thing. So I had a button. What button was it to cause harm? I forget now. There was some button that causes harm. We'll have to look it up in the script. But trust me on this one. When we get cast, now we got healing touch, and descriptions show up here. Of course, this is all just prototype style. Clearly, these need to go gray when they're not selected. That's something I need to do. But as you go select these, you can see different messages. You've not become skilled in any schools of magic. Skilled in any schools of magic. If you didn't have a spell learned, then they would say a different message here. And then for this one, when we do healing touch, this is the one that's set up. When we do healing touch, cast that. Cast the spell, and then you'll see her magic points go down. Now, technically, you'd see hit points go up. Hit points are at max. Check this out. See that? Look at that particle. Let's do it again. This time, pay attention to the particle. I'm going to do it on this right one. Ooh, particles. So that's one of the things. We actually tried a 3D pendant sort of thing. It didn't work right. We need to figure out how Hearthstone does their stuff. But I want these pendants. Oh, and if I hold control, then the camera won't move. So you can move the mouse around the screen if you hold control, and it won't move. Because even if you're in turn-based mode here, and you can't move forward and back and stuff because you're in turn-based, return does that, but control will do this. So I want these pendants to be active. Like if this character gets hit, I want the pendant to kind of shake a little bit, and maybe even rotate left and right a little bit, as if it's hanging there. Same thing as I want the characters or the pendants to act when they get healed and other stuff like that. One thing I'd love to do, this will be in the future when we got more animations and stuff with the humans or the humanoids and their look at and stuff. I would love them to be able to look at each other. So if this one says something, this one can look over and reply. Be like, so as if they're looking at each other. So that there's much more interactivity between them, even though they're just portraits, that they're actually acting together. So, so that the pendant particle effect is the last thing I did. And that is, here, what we can do is pause, and we can see it in, where is it? See, so we can see it here. You can see it's an actual particle effect on the flat pendant, and it uses, I'm using an asset. I think I'm hacking it. Is it, what is it? I know we can figure this out. Okay, well, let's see. On the spells, Healing Touch, I've got the Portrait Particle, Healing, and Buff Combo. Oh, this is the audio that plays. And the particle is Healing. Where do I keep the particles? That's a good question. Maybe it's here. Nope. It's a good question. Where do I keep the particle itself? Let's see. Portrait Particle is Healing. It's called Healing. Buff Combo is the audio clip that will play. I guess I can look at the code. Here is the particle itself. Okay, I can figure out where it is, where it lives later. But this is mesh render update. So this is the hacked. I think this is. I may have adjusted this script from the asset pack. Mesh effect pack. That's what it is. Let's check out the asset store. Always click on see all assets from Infinity PBR before you go to the asset store, because that puts my affiliate code in there. And then if you buy anything, I get 5%. And that 5% goes directly back into making more stuff for Infinity PBR. We are at break even, and we've been at break even for quite a while, which is great. But every little bit helps make more. So, Mesh Effects. This is the pack from Crypto289. Cool effects. Let's see these real quick. So the idea here is I wanted to have these effects on the mesh itself, which, of course, the UI is not a mesh. But these are really cool. There's also distortion effects. I turned it off for the healing because I thought it didn't look right. I can turn it on and we can see what it looks like. You can tell me what you think. But this is a really cool pack. I figured there's just a lot here to use out of the box, but also stuff I can probably use to learn from. So that's cool. Some cool stuff there. So that's what I'm using. That, and I think, can't remember if I got an asset or if I got an asset but ended up using another option to make it work on the UI. I can't remember if I added this. I don't want to change it just now. I think this is all their code. Yeah, this is all their code, I think. But I swear I did something to it. It wasn't just them. Let's see. I think this was the last thing I did. Let's see. So, yeah, I turned off the distortion. I have fog, whatever that is. Oh, this is the actual That's that. And the particles, which are those things, they look very different once it's on the mesh. Using their own shaders. Don't have the light. Let me turn this on for now, and we can see what that looks like. This mesh effect, I don't know if that gets turned on, but we'll save that. Let's see what this distortion looks like, and then we'll dig into the code, figure out where that lives. I do need to remind myself before moving forward, I think. Okay. There's that bug. Okay. I think there's this one.
This will come in handy.
Yeah, so this is what it shows when you haven't learned any from that school of magic. But alright, here we go. Oh, the distortion didn't show. Not sure why. Let's try it once more. Freeze that. Healing. Oh, these are just already on there. That's what it is. So that explains that. Why this isn't. Okay, so there's the distortion. Let's see that once more time. Check out the second player and the distortion. So you can see how the distortion's gonna come in handy for other spells. I don't think it makes sense for healing, but certainly for like a water spell going down or something like that would be really cool. There's some options there, some cool options there. What happens when I run out of magic points?
Sorry. Not enough magic left.
Oh.
Sorry. Not enough magic left.
So that's going to be a to-do item, making sure I can't do this.
Sorry. Not enough magic left.
Yeah. That'll be a thing to work on with my audio script. So that's it. The portraits themselves, which themselves are prefabs. And those portraits, UI, portraits, player portrait. So this is where it lives. This is the player portrait prefab, and on here is effect sphere. So there's an actual sphere. I swear, where is it? Oh, it's just really skinny, I think. Maybe. I don't know why we can't see it. Misrender. There it is. So there's an actual sphere that the mesh effect gets on. So it's yes UI, but the actual effect goes on a game object as sphere. And then the all the particles will be here. There might be some that get instantiated, but all of these that might get used over and over can be here and just get turned on essentially when they get called. And that's why the term healing, probably there's some code here. Yep, player portrait. Let's see. Active indicator, ready indicator, and then particles. So I could probably move this outside of player portrait and probably say player portrait particles or player particles, portrait particles. I think I should do that. Makes sense because there's a lot on this already, and I think player portrait is more of the someone remind me, what's the design pattern where this is it the controller design pattern where the player portrait will be the main one and all these other ones, the active indicator, the ready indicator, which kind of seem like the same thing. I wrote those before. And this particle one are all kind of off. So what I can do then is There's no code here for the particle, though. Interesting. Interesting. So, what I guess I could do then is, let's see, portrait particles. And make sure I move this to the right folder. Scripts. There. Okay. And then we're going to put these two things down here. And before I do anything else, I'm going to make sure I populate this correctly. Oh, got that. Just so effect sphere goes here, and we just have one. Oh, healing. Okay. Okay. And now we get to find the errors, because I'm not sure actually where these lived or these got called. So I'm going to just save this and find the errors, because there's going to be errors now. Somewhere. Let me save this too. Here we go. So I'm going to say player portrait. We're going to go with public portrait particles equals get component, well, grab, or get portrait particles, and I'm going to create that method, and we'll do private portrait particles. So if portrait particles, then return portrait particles. Otherwise, portrait particles equals get component portrait particles, and then return portrait particles. Can I do that, or is that just that's a loop? Yeah, so debug.log error could not find portrait particles. And this is required. I mean, if you get this error, it's an issue. So this should never actually show, technically. You know how it goes, right? So now if I say, where are those errors again? Player portrait, and then just add this. There we go. That will solve all those. Interesting. This RPGF is old, so I'm going to have to change that at some point too. It was back when I thought, I need one epic function script. And I was like, nah. No, I don't. You're wrong. How's everyone doing today? All right. All right, let's just check, make sure it still works. The worst is when you don't check and it didn't work and you find out a week later and you can't remember what it was that you were doing. I've learned.
This will
the
come in
hard way.
handy.
All right, good. Good. All right, so I kind of wanted to do a bunch more. I still need to do projectile spells, fireballs, of course, and condition spells. And I've got like Feeble Mind as one of them, so maybe
This will come in handy.
I haven't set it up though. I want to make these turn gray when they're not being used, when they're not active. It's just changing the shader on those. So Feeble Mind, I haven't set that up yet. Let's set that up. Good to know, Jack. It's Saturday. If you're in the United States, you've got, hopefully, a long weekend, unless you're a weekend worker, in which case you might have a different type of weekend. I certainly remember working at Denny's back in the day, and the holidays were not holidays for me. So, oh, Denny's. That was like 20 years ago, though. I wonder if it's changed. I actually went to Denny's. Is it Feeble Mind? I think. Did we talk about this? When I saw that, oh, god damn it. Yeah. Is Nope. Feeble is. What's the difference? Wait, is there a difference? Is this like a British thing? Ha! Like this. Oh, that's nice, Jack. I want to be retired. Or rather, not I mean, you know what I mean. I'm guessing you're where I would like to be, where, yes, you're retired, but you're not doing anything. You're doing stuff. Clearly you're here watching this, so you must be into game development, which means you're doing something productive and exciting and interesting. That's what I want to do. I think that's what we all kind of want to do in a way. Maybe some of us want to just keep working for the man. All right, so I got to change that name is what you're saying. Kind of makes sense to do that now. Spells. Feeble Mind. Luckily, the whole point of doing these in the item system is that technically changing that should be easy. And let's see, where do I change item types? And then I can change this to Feeble Mind. That changes all of those. And technically, nothing else should have mattered. All right, so what we need then, I'm going to start with the novice, and let's take calm as a example. Okay, so I'm not changing anything on these. It's just the dictionary. Okay, so it looks like spell icon, got that, got the all those. Excuse me, Feeble Mind is not a projectile, so it doesn't need a projectile prefab. What we do need, it's instant though, right? No, it's not instant because you have to choose who. Instant would be like you cast it and it just happens. So this is not instant. Doesn't heal the target. That's the other one. So what's the cost of Feeble Mind? We'll say it's 4. I don't know what it actually is. So this is a conditional, which is good because that's what we can test. So this says heals the target for 3 hit points plus 1 body magic, healing, and buff combo. Okay, so we'll do a portrait particle, I suppose. Feeble mind, and we need an audio. Where's my audio? So this is using the Battle Sounds library. In case you're wondering, shameless plug in Infinity PBR. So this doesn't get as much love. I think I need to change the name because the Battle Sounds library, when it was called that, sold fairly well. Like 2 or 3 times a month, which for my stuff is pretty good because most things sell every 3 months for the characters and stuff. But as you can see by evidence that I can't even find the package, it's buried. And it doesn't sell as well as it should. Same with this lockpicking. I thought that did really well for a bit and then sort of died out too. Sometimes I feel like being on sale is actually a bad thing because it seems like while sales do really well, afterwards things tank. But who knows? I'll still go on sale if they invite me. Wow. Okay, so this is the original. And what? Hey, where's the... Did I miss it? Maybe I missed it. I may have missed it. Alright, well let's click into this. The new one... Oh, did I not even... Well, that's something to do. I need to link it. Battle Sounds Library. Nope. Where is it? Well, see, this could be part of the problem. It's magic and melee sounds. Magic, melee sounds. Here it is. So this. Yeah, so I think I need to change this or something because this does not sell anymore. And it's super cool. It's got tons of sounds. And they're all customizable. Anyways, so I'm using this package. It's huge. These are all also like recorded by an actual guy in his house. Or his studio or wherever, like his kitchen table for something nice. It's actual, fully, not digitally made. And I think that's pretty swell. But I'm using those. So there's these pre-combined clips, because all the clips come in different things that you can combine, and then these buffs are just combined already for you. So let's figure out which one's for Feeble Mind. Actually, I need to turn up my own sound so I can hear better. $24 could be good. Let's see. Because it's got that sort of downward sound. Like a debuff. You know what would be really cool? If you could just click these and not have to click this. 14 could work. Oh, 0. 1 could work. Ooh, I like that one. Alright, we're going to go with buff combo 5. Alright, let me turn my own sound down so I don't have to hear myself talk and confuse myself. Where was that living again? It was in items. Spells. And number 5. All right. And then we need to make a particle for that. So let's figure out how to do that, because I can't remember what I was doing to make the healing one. So Feeble Mind, now generally Feeble Mind is going to be cast on bad guys, you would think. But maybe it get cast by a bad guy on the player, which is why we need a portrait particle. And for testing purposes, we'll let the players cast it on themselves, even though technically that would be a strange decision. Maybe in the actual game we don't allow it, but maybe we do. The problem with that is it's like one of those things where there's really no reason for a player to do it, and there's the risk that the player might accidentally do it and just get annoyed that they accidentally did it and then just stop and start from their last save point just to undo that. And that's not fun. So I would prefer just saying you can't do it. You can't harm yourself in that way. But we'll see. All right. So particles, portraits, healing. All right. So we took mesh effects, and that's what this essentially is. So let's see. Mesh effects. Prefabs. PC effects. All right. Do they have a demo scene? PC demo. Okay. Let's load up their demo scene and we'll figure out what's what. Because since these are mesh effects, they actually aren't going to look right in the just in the scene view like another particle. Please read the README. My English is not very good. Okay. All right. Let's just see. We won't maximize it. All right. Do we need? Okay. So this is effect 1. It's very hard to see on the stream. All right. So I'll maximize it because it does seem to show. Oh, it's still small, but it shows up there. Effect 1. So that could work. It's sort of like a. Oh, that's interesting too. Okay. No, not that one. That's the healing one I used. Not that. Not really. It's great for water stuff. Nope. 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 No. That's a poison. I like that though. No. Ooh, that's really cool. What's this one again? That's weird. Kind of like that one. That's 20. We're back to 1. So there's this one. Effect 2. Oh, that was the one. So effect 3 or effect 20? It's a duration effect, Jack. It's conditional, so it's going to last for some amount of time, depending on the caster's abilities and whatnot. But yeah, it's not permanent. so we're not going to have the... All right, so it's either 3 or we'll try 20. Problem is I'm not sure what the 20 will actually look like. I guess there's only one way to find out, right? All right, let's try 20. Go back to our scene. Let's see if I can find where my scenes live. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and tell YouTube's algorithm stuff. Thank you for that. Okay, so we're going to do 20, and I think that means to set this up, we go to our prefab for the... I guess I need to make this particle portrait prefab first, which I think I can just make a copy of the Mesh Effects 20. And we'll call this Feeble Mind. And we'll bring that here. And then, all right, any big difference here? Okay, so I'm going to put Feeble Mind. And so layer UI. Okay. Yes, change children. Okay, I don't know if the duration is going to matter. I think it does. So I'm going to set that up to 2 seconds. And that's that. So let me open the prefab, see what's on the inside. So trails, mesh effect, that should be fine. Let's just give it a try. The other thing we'll need to do is go to the actual player portrait and effect sphere, bring Feeble Mind here. Mesh object, okay, we need to set that. Okay, so here I set it to 1. So we'll do that and then make sure that this goes here. And we'll turn it off. All right, save that. So the conditions aren't set up, but I think we'll be able to see the particle effect in theory if all went right when we cast it. So let's just try that first before we dig in more. See how that looks. So, Feeble Mind here. Oops. I accidentally gave it to her rather than right-clicking. What? Checking Magic Book of Healing Touch for a match with Feeble Mind.
This will come in handy.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's an error. There's got to be something going on. What's going on? Let's just start over. Okay. I can't imagine how any of our changes would have affected the inventory portion. Checking Magic Book of Feeble Mind for match with Healing Touch. Alright, that seems normal. So this is the Feeble Mind. You can see that down here. Okay. Interesting. Oh, because we did change the name. You can see that here. Ah, so it didn't change the name in the data. That's probably it. Let's just confirm that real quick, because this is a good bug to fix, or I don't know if it's sort of a bug, to fix. Learned. No, it wouldn't be learned here. It would be under inventory or inventory data, maybe. Let's put back up here. Oh, wrong character. No, this is the third player. All right, we can fix this. Inventory. So inventory, oh, it's probably element 0. Oh, okay, wait. Pause this. I think it'll be faster if I pause it. Okay, of feeble mind. So this, okay. Actually, this is not, might not be a bug per se, but I just forgot to change it somewhere. So of feeble mind is a suffix that I think I need to update somewhere. Items probably. No. Where's the of? Stats and skills, maybe. Where it should be in items. Oh yeah, here we are. So this of feeble mind, and change that here as well. So that changes the scriptable object name, and change that there. All right, let's try that now. I could add an effect to the book cover, actually, Michael. That's a cool idea. So, actually, on that note, the books right now that we're using are from the Asset Store, so they're not the final. Damn it, the final books. Did I change everything I needed to change? See, this is still incorrectly named. So my thinking here, okay, let me finish that. So, Michael, these are from the Asset Store, so we're going to create our own books. And in that, there might be some built-in special things like making the cover look different or stuff like that. Maybe some shader effects in that regard. But then in general, adding particles to them shouldn't be a problem at all. Using that mesh effects asset and making our own particles, or there's other particles out there too. So I think that shouldn't be a problem. Feeble Mind Grandmaster is one place. Did I miss it? No. Oh no, this is adding a new item, so that's just temporary. This is if I want to add one down here, so that one's okay. Thanks for calling that out, though, Jack. I think what's happening is that when we load, let's just double check. We'll load again. I think it's loading saved strings from the data. And that's something to consider, because if I were to change a name of a spell and the game is already, during alpha or something, then that could cause problems for players. Obviously, you get an error. That an error is enough to get the game to quit and break completely. So let's just see what we have here. Inventory, magic book of healing touch of feeble mind. Yeah, so this is not being updated. So what I need to do okay. Thinking out loud. And stretching. Okay, so I believe, let's just double check this. I think every suffix prefix has its own unique ID. So I need to make sure that the name matches on load. Just do a check every time it loads. Check to see against the names match, or to update the name completely so it doesn't even matter. And yeah, because I'm saving these as strings and then doing lookups essentially with the module system. And this is a good call out for anyone using the module system, because they might face a similar problem. I think I pre-built a solution, but let's check. There's items, suffixes, a few more. So if we look at I should probably expose this, but if we look at the suffixes, so these are all scriptable objects. Okay, so there's a unique ID for those values. Let's see, is there not a unique ID for the whole thing? No. All right, so this is going to be something to add. I'm going to do a tangent here because I want to fix this and I want to fix it right. And it's going to be a fix that happens in the modules. We'll implement it in the game, but I want to do the fix first in the modules. And this is going to be in the items module, I believe. So let's move voices out. Move items in, and thanks Microsoft. Demo items. All right, love the demo scene. I don't think we need the demo scene, but let's see. Some of the items didn't load. Oh, that's not the demo scene. That's why. Where's the demo scene? Oh, maybe we didn't have a demo scene for the raw items. We have one for the modifications, which was a live stream I did a while back, but I guess maybe we didn't have a demo scene for the items itself. All right, so suffix. All of these need to now have a unique ID. So let's load up the scriptable object for item mod. And we'll do the same to items too, just make a unique ID for everything. So we're going to do let's see, how should we do this? Should I hide the unique ID? So either way, we're going to public string UID. This is a unique ID attached to this item mod, and is the most secure way of linking in-game data with saved data from the scriptable object. Should this be hidden in the inspector? I don't know. What we'll do is start with that, and I'm going to do the same to items. Not items. Item. Singular item. And just double check that it's not here. Okay. Okay, I'll put it up here. And we're going to need a new method. So I have these already on dictionary UID. Do I have it elsewhere? Create unique ID. So this is the method, and I think it makes sense to put this somewhere else, doesn't it? Like here. Okay. So game modules get unique ID. It's going to return unique ID. This basically takes all these characters. I got this from somewhere on the internet. And we'll do a unique ID between 10 and 20 characters. Just choosing a random one to add to it. Pretty straightforward, actually. So I think what I can do is say, we'll move the dictionary. Remove that. Remove. Oh, do we need one for items too? Might as well, right? Public string UID. All right. Do I still paste? Nope, I pasted the wrong thing. All right. And so I want to make sure I need to be able to add this if it's not there, and I need to be able to add this on the creation of it as well. So I'm just looking through these methods to see what's what. Okay, so what's the code for update? Is it just update for the editor scripts? Let's find out. Public update void if string.is null or white space UID, then UID equals game modules dot using static game modules. No? What do we got here? Game modules. Public static game modules. Game modules. PBR.game modules. See, this is code that I usually copy paste, which is why I'm. Let's see. I mean, I suppose I could just copy that code into items and make it standalone. I'll just do that. Oops. This never gets used. I probably had this idea before. Ooh, I'll just do it like this, but then it didn't work for some reason, so I stopped. So we'll save this and unique ID. I don't know what's. Sometimes this was an issue. Sometimes Writer adds random using things as I make typos, and it doesn't necessarily tell you. So, so now we're gonna make sure this works. Okay, so we get unique ID. And I don't think update works during. No. So I actually have to do check UID. Okay, and then we'll return. So, excuse me. So if there's no UID, we're going to assign it and return. If there is a UID, then we're going to I want to make sure it doesn't change. So, I guess if I hide it, it's not that big of an issue. People would have to change it manually, and that makes no sense. So I think it's okay. Always build that later. Okay. So I guess we don't need. Yep. Okay. And then in the why are we getting an error? Do we have an error? Okay. All right. I know it doesn't. It doesn't, Jack. It's true. The odds of that happening are super rare because the character string is anywhere from 10 to 20, and it has, all 36 alphanumeric characters in it. So the odds of two being exactly the same are exceedingly rare, though it is possible. Yeah, we're on the same page there, Jack. But also, the unique IDs are going to be unique to the type. So if it's a item mod, then it only matters if it matches for another item mod. So that's even more rare at that point. All right, so I need to run this, and I need to run this when I'm looking at the items. So when I am in my demo items and I look at items, which means I need items editor. And we're going to check it, I suppose, up here. Script.check UID. This will ensure there is a UID assigned. So I'm going to do, first I'm going to make sure this works, and then I'll do it for the item mod as well. So, where was I? Here we are. All right, and then if I look at my items, well, that should be it. Show full inspector. UID is okay. UID. So we got UID. that's good. And now let's do the same for the prefixes and suffixes. So it's going to be items mod editor we need, and item mod. And so similar thing here, check UID. And let's see. For this one, we have a reference to items, so items.getUniqueID. Oh, what? What? I always get confused with the static stuff. Now we can't do that. All right. Yes, Christopher, it's true. It's not 0, but I mean, I don't know how to do the math, but do the math, right? You're gonna have 10 different options of character length multiplied by the power of 36. Is that right? Because there's 36 characters. And that's the odds of it being a duplicate. Is that right? 36 times 36, or maybe it's 36 to the power of 10 multiplied by 10, because we're adding 36 to the power of 10, 36 to the power of 11, 36 to the power of 12, etc. It's astronomically small. But I think for this, I'm just going to copy this over. Okay, do that here. And do that here. And then on items editor, we're going to we're also going to say for each item in items, I think that's right, item.check UID, and for each item mod in prefixes, item mod.check UID, and we'll do the same for suffixes. Now that should assign UIDs to all of them. So if we show file inspector, we have no UID. Then we go to the items, or no errors, but we go back to prefixes, and there's UID. Suffixes, UID. All right, so so the GUI ID is the built-in system, and it doesn't. Yeah, I could be wrong. So tell me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't work for all it works for objects like if there's one of these, but items is not a scriptable object. It's just a thing attached to items. But each item, if that makes sense, each one of these is not an object in that sense. So I think the GUI, the built-in system, wouldn't work. That's my thinking. All right, so now that we have those, I'm going to export this. I'll have to remember to update this later today on the asset store. And get out play mode. This bug's weird, right? Have you guys faced this bug where it's just like everything looks weird and the only way to fix it is really going to be to quit and reload? Import package, custom package. Let's see. I don't need the demo content, so I'm going to not take the README, not take that, not take that. I just need these scripts. Okay. I learned that lesson the hard way when importing assets to actually look at what's being imported and uncheck stuff that you know you don't need. Hopefully the publisher organized it in such a way where it makes it easy to see those things, but that avoids bloat. And I don't know if I always do it. I didn't necessarily always do it, but it's something I try to remember to do. All right, so now let me just get those assigned by going to items and just clicking on all of these should, form the UIDs. Okay, good. So we've got all the UIDs for these now. They're all assigned magically. So now the issue we were facing was that these values changed. Now, okay. Unfortunately, since I didn't have the UID already assigned to the other ones, to the saved ones, there's going to be no way to look up the changes in what we've changed. So I'm going to have to create a new game, but that will take just a second. And that should save everything. So let me do that. We'll make it maximized. I gotta clean up this scene too. There's a lot of extra stuff. Or maybe that weakness master button is the only thing. Alright, so we will give this character a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, also check to see if the skin tones and whatnot are being saved. Let's make her green. Whoops. Green. Alright, so she's short-haired, green, with a skinny face. Okay, and skills. Okay. And he's going to have mind magic, body magic, leather, and she's going to have mind magic, body magic, meditation. He's going to have fire, magic, earth, let's say. And let's check his body. We'll make him red and his hair. Interesting. There we go. Short hair, red, dark red. All right. Start your journey. Test September 4th. One in 6.6 billion. Thanks, Michael. That's, yeah. The odds. Hey, how come it started with this saved or up? All right, so a couple things. His hair is gone. That's something. Her hair is supposed to be short. It's not. That's something. But her skin color's right. The skin colors are right, but the hair color looks right, but the styles are off. So I'll have to fix that. I was thinking something there might be wrong. I don't know why it started with a pause like that. All right. So now I'm gonna just make sure that this worked. Technically, it will load when I load press play. It should load the last saved data, which is very handy. So I don't have to keep creating scenes and characters. Let's see if it worked here. I'm actually surprised that the hair got changed because yeah, and look at that. It's again, it starts saved. There must be this value. I did change the number of pause levels. I use pause levels to indicate how paused. So like the highest pause level means the game is fully paused and you're doing like save and load and options and stuff like that. And then there's other pause levels. One when the menu's open, meaning all the other stuff pauses, but you can still interact with the menu. One where you're in turn-based mode, one unpaused. So I did change that. So my guess is that the game itself has the pause level set already. Oh, I see what you're saying, Christopher. So you're saying that GUI new ID, new GUI to string, just getting a GUI ID, not assigning that to the object, but saving the value. I see what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense. Let me circle back to that real quick. I just want to check this. Game data, game time, pause level on awake, pause level when scene changes, could be that. Pause level is currently 3. That's probably why. If we change that to 1, then we can move. Or can we move? No. Pause level 1 is turn-based. All right. So let me just implement Chris's idea because it makes a lot of sense. Chris or Christopher? I called you Chris, and I realize that you might hate the nickname Chris. Sometimes people call me Andy, and that's not my favorite name. I just let it slide. But there's a fellow at work. His name's Philip. I was working with 2 Philips. One goes by Phil, and then I started working with Philip, and I called him Phil, and he corrected me. So I now have learned to call him Philip. So check UID. So we're going to say UID equals GUID dot new GUID dot toString That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for this tip. Okay, so those are all good. can delete this entirely, I think. And while I'm at it, should probably do the same to other things. I'll have to update all the dictionaries today. Or all the modules today. Or most of them. I don't think these have any inventory. Let's see, I don't think inventory has any, but... Yeah, I don't think inventory has any. Stats and skills may, though. Let's see. But it should, shouldn't it? Okay, I'll have to think about that too. Because I think we might need the same update for that one. Alright, we'll leave that there for now. And just for my own sake, let's just look into this real quick. Is it not? I need a link to the... Unity 3D system GUID. Just want the docs. Where are the docs? All right. These docs are terrible, aren't they? Whatever. All right, I was just gonna look into it, but whatever. It will probably work. In fact, let's test. We can go to our items, demo items. We can delete this, use 7Q, and then when we load that up again, whoa, that's a much more unique ID. So yeah, and if we delete it again, always get a new one. Always get a new one. All right, that'll work. All right. Where were we? What was I just? Oh yeah, the game time thing. Let's fix that. Okay. Fix things as they come. Sometimes it's best to write it down and fix it later. Sometimes, oops. Sometimes it's best just to fix it. Pause level 0. Huh. So why is it changing the pause level to something else? Press play. Pause level is 0 still. Why would it be changing it? So I'm just going to quickly assign some stuff and not care about the rest. And debug quick start, random gibberish. Pause level is still 0. Start game. Now, technically, it should change it to 1, actually. Oh. And this time it didn't. That's odd. Whatever. Okay. Oh, it's part of .NET. I see. I didn't realize that. I feel like there's a lot of people like me who don't know things like that. But alright, so it didn't happen this time. I have no idea why it started paused last time. Alright, so we're going to do a test. We're going to change feeble mind back to the misspelling because currently it should be fine. Oh, no, it's not. What? Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Dropping Book of Feeble Mind. I thought we saved that. Didn't we? Didn't we save that? Let's see. No, it's items. Suffix of feeble mind. Feeble mind. Oh, I know. See, this is the thing. So our stat and skills. Each one of these magical spells has a, not all of them actually, the ones that you can get at the beginning have a spell book, and this needs to be changed. That's it. So this does help us though, because I am going to change it here. Okay, outplay mode. A little faster. Not really. Oops. Okay, so correct name there. I believe we are still going to have a bug because the character will have the old spelling saved, and then we can implement this check, which will be helpful for the future. Let's just double check. There. Feeble mind. Oh, there. Okay, there we go. Oh, feeble mind. So this is the unique ID. We're gonna have to when we load the game, we're gonna have to go through every player's inventory essentially and copy these strings from the unique ID, and that means we need to change another thing on the modules. We need a method to get a thing by unique ID. So let's go back to our modules and do that real quick. Does that make sense? Because if we go to our scripts, and for instance, we go to items. Items won't need one, but items mod. Actually, items, yeah. So items is where it will live. Get item. So we will do get item by UID. And while we're at it, item name, best practice. Item name, item UID. What's the warning? Oh, it wants me to do that? Okay. Alright. Item mod. Item mod name. Item name. Ignore case. Why? Okay. Oops. Item name. Mod name. Item mod name. Item mod name. This is why I like Writer, by the way, being able to do things like this. Maybe you could do it in the other stuff, but I never was able to do this before, so it's fun. Add new for item name. Add new prefix is item mod name. Okay. Item mod name. All right. So I'm just gonna skinny these up. Here, okay. So get item by UID. So we're gonna go through items. If item.uid equals item UID, continue. Otherwise, return get item by that index. That's down here. Okay. And so get prefix, maybe similar by UID, and string item mod UID, item mod UID, and UID. Okay. And do the same for suffix. By UID, item mod UID, and UID. UID. All right. That should do the trick. I have to export this again. Just do, in this case, the scripts. All right, so now yeah, I need to check when I load the game. So this lives somewhere, and I think I gave myself a debug log to make it easier to find where it lives. But I have a whole slew of things that I need to check for similar reasons, just to make sure everything's linked and nothing got changed. Because the whole idea is once this game is playable, I want there to be an alpha build, but I don't want players to be screwed. Whoops, I totally shouldn't have deleted these. I don't want players to be screwed when I make a change, like changing the spelling of feeble mind to be correct, and have to restart their game. So I'm building in all these checks just to make sure I can change things without messing with people. Setup player. So it's relinking item data. What's this though? This shouldn't be. I shouldn't get a null reference here. Oh, this is probably feeble mind, because it's looking for that. So it's relinking item data by item, and it's saying get me the suffix. That's the issue here. So this is where I need to say by UID and do the same to the prefix. Heck, the same to the item. Item.uid, UID, UID. And then what it's doing is going through and updating all those, but now I also need to update the strings. Let's go back to that so I remind myself. Hey, Jason. You don't like my logs, do you, Jason? I'm okay with my logs. Let's see. I was in... I need to make these hidden in the inspector. Where was I? The spells. No, it's items. Suffixes. Feeblind. So that's, wait. Let's see. So for each suffix where values base are being updated, and then and this wasn't where I was checking it, right? But oh yeah, it was on the item itself. So in oh yeah, I was going through the inventory. That's where this is the section that I need to change. Okay. I mean, I probably should update that here too. Maybe not. Okay, for each item in the inventory, relink item data. Okay. And then for each spots, relink item data. That's fine. We need to do it both places. So, in their inventory, so for each item in the inventory, that's these, we're relinking all these different things, and now I need to relink these as well. So, strings. And so, item dot. So the item is what's in the inventory. So I'm going to be the explicit inventory item. So it's clear. Inventory item dot object name equals item data dot object name. Guess. I mean, I guess, yeah, I'm just going to do it one line at a time. There's no, because I can't just copy the whole thing. That wouldn't work. So we'll just do it like this. Do I change the, because the item mod, that needs to be added too. So let's do that too. That may have been an oversight on my part that I would have had to fix later or something. So let's see. Prefix equals item data dot items dot get prefix, and this is going to be inventory item dot prefix name, and we'll do the same for suffix. And We need type just in case that changes. I don't know if type will change, but it might. Oops, not just type. And we'll do type index too. Because those aren't things that change in the game. Or are they? Wait. Could they be? Oh boy. All right, wait, hear me out. So yes, this won't work. It can work, but it won't work as such because I could create a magic book, and the magic book UID is this. I need to find the UID of the suffix attached to the magic book. So I'm going to zombie code this for a bit because I will need to do something here. But so what I'm thinking is, let me walk through this one. This is an item. The unique ID refers to magic book, and let's just confirm that. 4 L or I 3. When we look at this, 4 L or I 3 is the magic book. So if we go to our items and we look at magic book, one of these is magic book. There it is. So this is that, and so I can't pull because magic book doesn't have these things. The item does, but what I need is to find. So, okay. So the UID. Okay, sorry. I'm thinking out loud and going through it, and this is going to be back here again. So each item has a prefix name, prefix name. So we also need to do public string prefix UID and public string suffix UID. I'm going to probably make these hidden in the inspector. For now, I won't. And then when an item is created or a suffix or prefix is created, you have to bring in the UID as well to link that. Right? Because essentially the source of truth is based on this UID. The name here, prefix, those could all be pulled in. You know, you don't actually need those. That's more of a convenience just to see it in the inspector and not have to see this random string. But they don't actually need to be modified. In fact, they shouldn't be modified, right? Because you're always going to pull from this. Okay. And so you're going to pull this UID. And that's the source of truth. And yeah. So in a way, no, that's all fine. This is fine. Okay. So in a way, you should always get by UID. That's like the safest way. Composition. So Jason Story says, for simplicity, the way I would handle this is via composition. Simply create a method called contains ID Then check if the current object ID matches, returns true. If false, iterate its children, do the same, recurse its children. So instead of actively going through the IAM's children active is valid and knows about its own children. Wait, what's code review, Jack? Because sure, maybe. Will I be embarrassed? Probably, but in a good way. Be right back. I'm gonna get some more coffee. I'm back. Did you miss me? I had to microwave that coffee. Let's see. In short, avoiding solving these kinds of problems by leaking implementation. Said hide it. Ask more abstract questions and let the internals resolve them for you. Jason, leaking implementation. Is leaking implementation having lots of different ways to implement something? Is that what you mean? All right. So now this has that. So this should now be prefix UID, really. Is that going to screw people who are already using it? Yes. I'm reading the comments now. That way, by not expressly exposing how the internals work, you don't need to change them. You change your mind. Yes, that's we've been talking about that comment or the concept rather in the game dev show for the past couple weeks too. I'm trying to implement that concept, so let's see if I can do that. By the way, this is totally sidetracked because I wanted to get that feeble mind spell working, and so I guess we're still trying to get the feeble mind spell working, right? Excuse me. Didn't press the mute button before I coughed. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about, Jason Story. So I need to come back to that because I somewhere, do I have an add suffix? No, I add prefix. I don't have the add. Those are adding something you'd have to do on your own, I guess. So that's going to be in my project where I add and have to keep track of the UIDs. Or not keep track, but just make sure the UID is there. Let me just... these are things that I've been trying to update as I go because I know we've talked about how this is a bad practice. So I'm trying to make these more explicit. Okay. I don't need this. All right. Okay. So this can be made better if I have the UIDs only. And let's see, what's the code to bring this up? There we go. And then so this I'm going to try this out. Jason, tell me if I'm doing this wrong, because I know you'll know, or you'll have a sense, a spidey sense if I'm doing this wrong. But what I'm thinking is do a private string prefix name, which I can cache, and same for suffix name. And then this can be get prefix name, and this would be get suffix name. And those methods would be, I guess I can put them here for now. Would be string, well, if string dot is null or white space. See, these are all things I've learned from you, Jason. Tiny little things, quality of life things, small tips. I should write these down and one day do my own tip show with 100 different tips that I've learned all from you in the game dev show. By the way, everyone, give a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And definitely check out the game dev show tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time on Jason Wyman's channel, which is the Unity 3D College, I believe. Definitely check that out. It's always a good time. Jokes and tips and interesting conversation and lots of audience interaction as well. All right, so null white space. If we don't have the prefix name saved here, then so if it's not null white space, then we will simply return prefix name. Otherwise, we will do something else. We will say well, that actually So I was going to cache that, and if not cache, then pull it up. But the problem is that if the name changes, I don't want that private one cached, right? So I guess oh, Meritox G. I'm going to have to come back to that because that looks cool. Yeah, the reason why I want to expose prefix name is just for quality of life. Whoops. So let me go back to the game project. And when I look at the inspector for, say, the inventory, and I'm looking at, oh, what kind of inventory does this character have? I want to be able to see this data. The prefix name, the suffix name, rather than just seeing the UID. So I could get suffix UID, it would be gibberish though. So I want to be able to see what that is. But I don't want to use it. Does that make sense? I have to wait for the delay to go through. What I really need to do is I need to get my streaming set up so that I can pull people in, so I can like give someone in chat a link, whether it be Jason or somebody else, and say, join the chat, come talk to me. That would be fun. Because so many of you actually know a lot more than me. Yes, that's a good way of putting it, Jack. Trying to break the coupling. I want everything to go by the UID so that we don't have these issues where the name, you know, I fix the spelling and suddenly everything breaks. But I still want to see the name. I mean, I suppose that could be a custom inspector sort of thing too. I mean, actually, it probably should be a custom inspector. I mean, does that make sense? Because I could make game into a custom inspector. All this stuff is just lists and stuff, so I could do a custom inspector. Does that make more sense? serialized fields, see them in the inspector. Yeah. Sorry, I was checking my messages. I'm gonna have to have a call at 1 p.m. Yes, Jason. That is a great way of staying it. Friendly names. Oops. Friendly names. And I also don't want to create more work for myself. And custom inspectors are more work for myself. So in general, you handle it having a general is function on literally any identifiable object. So then the object internally can take a string and decide that's me. The way it internally works is either to check its own internal GUID or to iterate its parts to see if its part matches. And then that friendly name would show up in the inspector. Like, for instance, let me undo here for a while just to make sure I don't save stuff that I never finished. Okay, I can do that though. Okay. That's on the module. So on my game script on standard print, so the way we display will be with the string you choose. Okay, so if I'm hearing correctly, so let me just work this through. I've got my player. Player has an inventory. Inventory is a list of items. Now, inventory itself is a module. So let's look at it here, but we might have to do the changes in the module system and then import it here. So, not that, game modules, inventory, not demo, scripts. Or is it? Let's find out. Game, data, player, inventory, inventory section. Ha! Nice. Okay, so it's a list of items is the inventory. Okay, so item, this is now the domain of the game modules. So we do have to do it in the game modules. So if we do that here instead, if I'm going to combine the suggestions from Jason and Michael Murray, not sure, Michael, we'll just call you Michael. Then we're going to be on item back to here. So serialize field, private string prefix name is going to be get prefix name. Is that well, we can always change it. Let me just see. And this is going to be so if no prefix, return nothing. Otherwise, return prefix dot name. But we can't trust that we have prefix. So first we need to link prefix. So this is going to say if prefix string dot is null or white space prefix UID, then return. So if we have no UID, then we have no prefix to link. And then if prefix, then return, because that means we already have the prefix. Otherwise, prefix equals items dot get prefix items dot get prefix by UID, and that's going to be prefix UID. So that's going to link the prefix, which actually solves one of my problems that I do custom in my game. Relinking the scriptable objects, because you're always going to have to relink that. So we're going to say force or bool force relink is true. So if you don't say false, then it's always going to force it. And so we'll say either way, if there's no UID, then it doesn't matter. And not force relink. Okay, because if we're not forcing the relink and we have a prefix and we return it, otherwise we'll force the relink. We don't want to do this all the time, I suppose, but at the beginning of the game we'll need to, because the scriptable object might be somewhere else. And then get prefix name. It's going to say relink it. If there is no prefix, return empty. Otherwise, return prefix name. Okay, let's see. Demo items. Instead of expressly dealing with prefixes and suffixes outside of items, imagine if you had name and full name, then name is just the item name. The exposed full name includes whatever. So, if I'm hearing you correctly, Jason, the hesitation I have there is errors with the contains. Like if I have a magical sword and I end up with a prefix that's magical, so it would be redundantly a magical sword. That could cause a problem if I just have a magical sword and it doesn't actually have a prefix attached, but it has the string attached, especially even magic. That's why I was thinking of being very explicit that it either has a prefix or it doesn't. I mean, ultimately, I guess it doesn't really matter. This is a quality of life thing to show it in the inspector, but it's kind of muddying the waters, isn't it? Because I don't have to show it unless I'm doing a custom inspector, which in the items module I do, obviously, but in the game itself I don't really need to show it because it'll show up in the game, and if I see some inconsistency, then it's really just a quality of life thing. And that's something that I could probably handle in another way. I feel like I might be making more work than needs be. I think I have a has prefix. Do I have a has prefix? No, I don't have a has prefix. I should add that though. Let's see. Oh. Okay. I'm reading. I have to leave in 45 minutes, Jack. Thanks for keeping me honest on that. Jason has a YouTube channel where he's made at least one video. I haven't checked this week if he made more, but he should make more. I mean, okay, so I'm trying to wrap my head around this, and this is why I need to set up, Jason, a thing to bring you in, or just set up a thing where we can deep dive or medium dive into this thing. Get thing dot type. Because I think I'm getting glimpses of where you're going with this, but I'm not really sure. So I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. Two videos. While my brain does its thing, can we just what's your Jason story? See, I've searched you before. There you are. One video. Only one video. I've watched half of it. So everybody, you should join Jason Story's channel. Join the 1.35 thousand subscribers who have watched this one video that he's going to add to and make more videos from. So, all right. So part of this, my thinking here is, so the items module is sort of a thing that has prefixes and suffixes. Adding runes as your example, which is a great example, would be essentially, I mean, ultimately that's something that in the reference of the modules system would be something you'd add on the as a custom dictionary. Like you would add rune as a key and then link that somehow, or something. It is somewhat opinionated, if that's the right word, or boilerplate for prefixes and suffixes. It's meant to be used in that way. It doesn't have to be used. You can ignore the prefixes and suffixes entirely, but it's meant to have that ability. Each week one videos early on. The coffee. I'm going to call it coffee. I want to call it coffee, not Ko-Fi. Ko-Fi doesn't make any sense to me, but coffee makes a lot of sense, right? It's because they spelled it with a K. That's the problem. All right, so actually, all of you who know more than me, correct me if I'm wrong. So part of my hesitation, part of the reason why I'm doing all this random link prefix and shit is that really get prefix name could be as simple as if there's no prefix return, otherwise return items.get prefix by UID, prefix UID dot name. Is this tough? Is this something that takes up a ton of resources? You know, all this is, it iterates through. Should I create a dictionary? I think, Jason, we talked about this a while back now. where I could create a dictionary that, is populated as, so the first time you look this up, it goes through the list, but then there's a dictionary, not this dictionary, an actual dictionary that gets added to for quicker lookup later. So the question I have is, will running this code every time you need to get the name, which could include displaying it in the game, in the menus and whatnot, not in the inspector, I guess, although it might be in the custom inspectors, really, is that resource intensive? Because I don't know. And that's the one thing, like, I don't actually know enough details about which things are or are not resource intensive. Brian, that's a good point about the Ko-fi thing, or coffee thing. Yeah, that's why I was thinking that the loop is intensive. And isn't try get just a safe way of getting something if you don't know it exists in the list? Notify property change handler. Now, I'm not familiar with that. Might not be is that a .NET thing or something like that? Oops. You can break early, but if it's the last one in the list, then it's going to keep going to the last one in the list. And if you accidentally do that every frame, it's going to be an issue. I mean, that's why in the game, like, doing it once at the start of the game and then caching the values, that's perfectly fine. And I think that's part of what I'm trying to get out of this is that, when I load this data, all I really need to save is the UIDs. And if I have the UIDs for the item, I have the UIDs for the prefix and the suffix, all the other data can come up or can be saved, because this is data that doesn't change. Now, the item itself might be enchanted to have a prefix or a suffix, so I can't take only the data from the item, because that doesn't have a prefix and suffix. So I do need to save those, but as long as I cache those values, like I'm going to have to cache the scriptable objects and cache the name at the beginning, then it doesn't matter after that. You know? Yeah. So I get what you're saying, but that's where. So I do that to some degree in the modules already, where if I change the name here, it will change it everywhere. But that's through the inspector script. So the reason why I'm thinking I need to have these get things is really just for caching purposes in an actual project. I like philosophical stuff. You have an object. An object has descriptors. When a descriptor changes, whatever it may be, you want to update the object's display in other places. Yes, that's what I do on the modules themselves, which is entirely, the module system, of course, is not, you use the data at runtime, but it itself is not runtime. More like something internally changes on the object and has an I have changed, fires, and everyone listens to that. Yes, that makes sense, I think. The thing is, once this data is loaded, it doesn't change. Like, what in the game, it's in the game project. When I pick up a book. Actually, take one step back. Scene loads. A book is on the ground. It's populated with a random script. It's some kind of magic book. What spell it is, I don't know. The script says it's of fireballs. So that book, is a magic book of fireballs, and it takes in the UID of the suffix, attaches the name, attaches the suffix. From that point on, it doesn't change. And even if I had some other spell that can change it to of feeble mind, that's the point at which it changes. But it doesn't change to the point where anything else cares, because only this object will change. It only lives in one place. Hello, Engage. And the problem I was facing originally that led me down this path is that I changed the name Feeble Mind to correct the spelling. Thank you, Jack. And then we got errors because this was saved. And I realized I can't trust the name saved. So when I load the project, I need to be able to say, hey, what is the various things? Now, since this is items is something on stat or skills. Okay, wait. I'm thinking now. The wheels are moving. So really what I kind of could make use of here, and definitely I know you all will, but tell me. Yeah, so Jack, to your point there, I don't really need to do a mod check, but in every case, there should be one method that says repopulate data, or I don't know what the right term is, but basically says, hey, one method, redo all this data. I've got the UIDs, redo the rest based on the UIDs. And that can live on this method, or this class rather. And it would be, let me just type it out here. So it would be a public void setup item, or setup item from UIDs. And it would basically say, and this would be something you do once. So call this when loading data to reset or relink the scriptable objects and strings which may have changed during I don't know, changed during updates to your code to ensure the game always has the latest string data, etc. So what I'm thinking here is and again, this would only happen once. This would never happen more than once per load. Whether you're loading at the beginning of the scene or loading at the beginning of the game when the game data loads, it only happens once. It shouldn't happen anymore. For individual items, it might happen once, but for all items, it only happens once. And essentially, this is the item, and this is the item. So I will take the... So object name will equal... Actually, let me cache this to do some caching. Item data, or item data, equals items.get item by UID. And we're going to say UID of this item. So then object name equals item data dot object name. And then item mod prefix data equals so we're going to say set up prefix from UIDs and set up suffix from UIDs. I'm mixing an X. And so public or private void set up prefix from UIDs. This might be a rabbit hole, but go with me on it. So item mod data equals items.get prefix by UID prefix UID, and it's going to be prefix data, but if string dot is null or white space prefix UID, then return. Otherwise, get the data and then so prefix equals prefix data dot that's it, prefix data, and then prefix name equals prefix data dot name, and do the same for suffix. I haven't been reading the messages. In my head, I'm thinking people are screaming at me saying, no, 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 no. Nope, don't do that. Okay. And for the object, we should also do the other things we need, which is type equals item data dot type in case that changes, and type index equals item data dot type index. This is kind of what I was doing previously on my game, but now I'm just putting it into here. All right, let me read these things. I think I'm understanding you, Jason, but I'm not seeing how that applies. So maybe I'm not understanding you because I don't see how it applies in this case. Well, or maybe we're talking about two different things. Because yeah, I'm just trying to link this data, and how I use the data is separate. And it sounds like what you're talking about is more about using the data rather than doing a one-time link at runtime, because I have to do a link at runtime, right? I think. And then these wouldn't be used. All right, I'm gonna try to implement this and just see if it does what I'm looking for it to do. In order to link it, you need to know about it. And the side effect of this approach is that you have to expose how things work to link them. I think I'm not following you. I think I'm not, must not be understanding something. Or maybe I'm thinking too linearly about the linking. Not sure. So now this would do all of what I was trying to do here. Oh man. Okay. Oh, I need to do this up here. Yeah, he did mention notify property change. I mean, are we saying like if this property changes, then we do the setup? Not sure. Okay, so this is going to relink. Grab the scriptable objects and assign those values to the items. Okay, I can actually do this at the start or at the top. Oops. I think. Still getting that. Did it? Close game time. It's taking up space. Okay, so the problem is I don't have the UID, so I need to go back to the. If there is no UID, then that would cause a problem, wouldn't it? I'm not going to make a check for that though, because we should have the UID system in place by the time. I want to close that. Scenes. Just gotta make sure that the UIDs are getting into here. Because I have a feeling that it's not getting into here. Okay, so I go to my third character and skills. This should add an inventory item. It does, and it doesn't add the suffix. So the suffix UID. Add starting item. So items get items. Get item. Item name. So this is where technically I should be getting this by UID, and the UID should be, say, from this value, get value, item name, get value, starting item. But the way the modules are set up, it can't do it like that. So, okay. Lion magic. So magic book. Where is magic book of whatever though? Clone the magic book. Add it. Okay, this is the suffix name. So this is where I need to add that. New item dot suffix UID equals game items get suffix, a suffix name dot UID. This is just for the character creation scene. So we start with that. Nope, can't start with that. Okay. That should link it. Oh yeah, I got 10 minutes. You guys are keeping me on track. So here's the deal. I'm trying to buy a house, and apparently it worked. And the realtor just said, "See you tomorrow morning at 8:30." I wonder why she said that, because I was not planning on going there at 8:30. Oh, let's talk in the morning. Yes, I can talk at 8:30, but I've got to be done by 9. From 9 to noon. However, so if we need more time, could we do afternoon? So I don't have to be gone at 1. So I can be here all day long. Not really. I'll get tired at some point. Okay, let's test this again. I think she just, one of the things with this house, I can't afford the house if I were to ever lose my day job, and I don't like that, so I'm going to try a Airbnb out some rooms and rent some rooms, and I need to make sure the HOA, there's an HOA, allows that. That's what she wants to talk about. I think it's allowed because I found some other Airbnbs in that neighborhood. So it's outside the fires. I mean, it's close enough where, my God, last Sunday, it happened really fast. I saw the house on Sunday. I said, screw it, let's put an offer in. It works. And then they accepted it. So it was very fast, and I've heard horror stories of people taking forever and having to go through dozens of homes. I didn't have that, so I was surprised. But it's outside of the fire zone, but the smoke, it's close enough to Tahoe that the smoke last weekend was, I think the level was, touched the 400 of particle levels, which is, just don't breathe it. You're going to die in a day if you do, type of smoke level. But it's a normal neighborhood in an area that is outside of the hills, and while drought is always an issue, the risk of fire is much lower, much lower. I wouldn't live in the hills where there's a risk of that. I don't think it's even maybe ethical for humans to live in those areas right now, because we know they're going to burn every year. But people keep moving up there, and then it's going to burn every year right now until the climate change stuff gets addressed. Anyways, let's see. So we got looking at our third character, Lorena, female human cleric, or should it be human female cleric, and we're going to teach her a spell. Good, suffix ID guy in there. So now this is going to save, and this is going to save, and let's just quickly set up some characters. No, we want chain for this one, and shield. Debug quick start, gibberish, start game. So those are technically saved, and when we load the game, we're going to reload the data based on that. So let me see, does the other one have the right? Now it has the wrong thing. So so that technically means it should work. Didn't work. So this, what's going on here? What's going on here? What is going on here? I think we need a debug log, because I don't know why that keeps happening. Did we get the data? Yes. We don't have a misspelling anymore. We're linking it just fine, which is amazing. This UID thing I think is a great addition. But this keeps happening. So debug.log suffix data.name. All right, let me just see what spits out there. I went over it yesterday in a live stream. We went on a ton of tangents, but Odin was a big one. The Editor Console Pro I'm interested in. I always like the environments, so those are always fun. There wasn't a lot in there that I like really wanted, but Odin, I actually think I may have already had Odin from a sale, who knows how long ago, but that's okay. Now I can have a second seat, and if I ever work with somebody officially, I can be legal on that. Because I always wonder how many people actually... Wait, it didn't... Oh, so there's no suffix data. Okay. Get suffix... Oh. Suffix UID. That's why. And prefix UID. Wrong UIDs. That's why. If you do happen to get the Humble Bundle and you go to my Discord, scroll up some, you'll get this link. Oh man, we've been talking about stuff. Somewhere, oh here we go. This link is my partner link, and it's been helpful. Don't forget about the Humble Bundle. I think everyone already bought it. Who's going to buy it though? Because why not? It's $25, right? Yeah, I need to figure out how much of that I can use for this game without using it to do things that I would otherwise create as a module. Because I'm enjoying making the modules, for sure. And I like the idea that one day maybe I could get this whole project on the asset store as like a complete project that people can use. All right, good. That error's gone. Couldn't get a forced item, that's fine. This looks like a light probe issue or something. Not sure. Okay. So, can we learn this spell?
This will come in handy.
Good.
This will come in handy.
Because before we weren't able to learn the spell. Okay. So that was a long rabbit hole. Thank you, Terrence. As I said yesterday, the partner code, I'm actually surprised. It brought in like, I think $280 in partner revenue, which is amazing. So thank you all for doing that, because with that, I found a tutorial, an online tutorial on ArtStation for making really nice hair, modeling the hair and getting it into game engines in Unity essentially. And I passed that to Kyle, and he bought it. I've reimbursed him, and I'm going to be paying him for his time, of course, to learn from that tutorial how to make better hair, cooler hair, and we hope to get a hair package at some point with really nice hair, like braids and all this other stuff. So that essentially, indirectly paid for. So your partner's stuff indirectly paid for that, essentially. That's how it works. I mean, obviously it goes into one big pool, and then the pool gets spent on various things, and Kyle, his hourly rate plus these things. So one way or another, it would have been spent on stuff, but that's more of a direct thing where I was like, ooh, let's do this. Let's just spend the money on that. So thank you. Always helpful, and hopefully we'll get some really cool hair. And I don't even remember now where it was, but ArtStation. Nope. Yeah. Hair tutorial. See if I can quickly find it. There's a lot, but it was a very specific one. It was like $40, which is actually quite inexpensive in my opinion. That's cool. There's so many, but it was a good one, and I can't remember who did it. Feel like I would recognize. Oh, that's a cute mouse. Feel like I would recognize the icon. Or not. No, I don't know. All right. Did this work? Oh, it did work. We already decided it did work. All right. So the next thing I wanted to do is set up that feeble mind to see if we can get the condition work. That was the whole point. Hours and hours ago. Good updates, I think. But the whole point was to set up the feeble mind. So items, spells, feeble mind. Don't show the full inspector. Items. Feeble mind, novice. So we actually set this up as a stat or skill. So one of the things I didn't actually talk earlier when I showed the healing spell, not calm, but the healing touch. If you notice, there's no. Oh, there is hit points. Okay, so correct me. I'm wrong. So it uses the stat or skill system, and this treats it as a condition, but it's a condition that lasts 0 seconds. So essentially it uses the condition system to give hit points, which is pretty cool because I can also use the condition system to take hit points. So an attack from a magic spell like Fireball is really no different from an attack from a sword. Essentially, both of them will call the condition system and that script and deduct hit points from the character. And that means that all those conditions, whether they deduct hit points, whether they deduct magic points as well, like some sap weapon or who knows what it is, can do that. And they can also add other conditions too. So hit points for Healing Touch, and for Feeble Mind, we're going to do a couple things. We're going to say base value for Wisdom and per skill point for Wisdom is going to go down. So the base value for Wisdom is going to go down 1 for Novice and +1 per skill point. Actually, we'll do 0.5 by skill point. And yeah, just that's it. And I guess we can do these other ones at the same time. Do all of those. So Wisdom, add base, add base, add base. Wisdom, add per skill point, add per skill point. Add per skill point. So for, it was 1 for, so we'll do, or 1.1 and 0.5. We'll do 3 base and 0.5 for expert. And I don't know why these are defaulting to 0.1. And make sure that, okay, I did. And then for master, we'll do 5 and 0.75 per skill point. And for Grandmaster, we'll do 5 and 1 per skill point. How about that? That'll make people really dumb if you cast this on them. All right, so that should technically work. And then we have the dictionaries too. So I'm gonna make all of these dictionaries, and so we need, condition is going to be Feeble Mind. Duration, I guess 1 hour, so 60 minutes plus 3 minutes per skill point. So there's no period. Period would be like a repeating thing if it's poison that causes damage every few seconds or minutes or whatever. No area radius. We did Feeble Mind. I'm going to just copy that. And we're doing buff combo 5. And yes, you can cast it on player. And range is 8. It has to be, you have to be within 8 units or you can't cast it. Okay. So that's the novice. So 60 and 3. Expert is going to be condition Feeble Mind. We're going to do 90 and 4. And range is 9. Can cast on player, yes. And we are doing buff combo 5 with a portrait particle. Master is going to be 120 and 5 minutes per. And we'll do 10 range. Can cast on the player. And getting buff combo 5. And Grandmaster, buff combo 5. Feeble Mind, Feeble Mind. Duration will be 180. Duration per skill point is going to be 6. Range of 12. think I need skill required. Right. Yes, mind magic is required. Okay. Yeah, I've heard so many people say that Odin should be part of Unity. Now they do have their free open source version, or I guess just serialization or something. But still, that requires a third-party thing, and that's tough to do for client projects and also for asset store projects. Say, hey, this relies on a third-party tool, because now you're relying on that third-party tool actually staying up to date and not breaking everything, and that's a hassle. All right. So, do we have a description? Description, yes, we do. Okay. Reduces the target's wisdom by, what was it? 1 plus 0.5 per skill point. You know, what would be cool is to add in a variable thing, so I could just put in compute the total value of these and it would just populate. Maybe that's a to-do item in mind magic for 60 for 60 plus 3 minutes per skill in mind magic. Okay. And expert is 3 and 0.5. Oops. Should make this a taller. Ah, I really should make this taller. This needs to be a text box, not a string. Can I make that change? Because this is frustrating. Yeah, can't force it. That's the problem. So if I go back into my thing here. Dictionary. Let's see. Oh, because it's a string. Any string can be longer. Okay. So I want this to be text box. But really, I should add a toggle here. All right. Let me dig into that. How would I do that? Dictionaries. Items. Editor scripts. Items editor. And then I'm looking at my items. I was looking at the modifications one. So default value. Oh, this is it's right. Show dictionaries. Show dictionaries. show dictionary string. Okay, if, then undo for requiring that. And then we'll add just a string text field. Okay, that should give me a checkbox here. And it can't be seen. What if I just make it nothing? Can I do that? It does. Okay. And then if I check it, okay, can undo, good. So we're going to say, do I have don't have height. How do you do multiple height? Is that how you do it? Maybe. Aha. Okay. There we go. So now if it's a text box, it'll show big. And so I guess I don't really need to explain that because when you toggle it, people will be like, oh, it's big, I get it. And then if it's big, go back to here on all of these. Show items. Show item. Show item details. Show item dictionary. Key values. And this is where I do that. show it first. Show key value pair and string. Here we go. Key value dot text string is text box 80 20. Okay, this should be item over item. This should be bigger. Over time stat. Over time stat. Let me just, oops. Over time stat test. Huh. Okay. It's delayed. Alright, so why is it not displaying the way I want it to? Aha. Nope, it should be. Oops. I'm just gonna make it skinny, make sure this changes. Yeah, that changed. Why isn't it updating? Do I have to update other places? Let me try something else. Oh. Okay. Well, that explains some of that. So then technically it's false. I'm just going to test to make sure it actually shows up properly. All right, so the issue is that it is set to false, and that means when I toggle this here, it's not changing it all the existing ones. So what I need to do then is save this, bool, text box value equals key value dot string is text box, and if key value dot string is text box does not equal text box value, then we will update it on all the dictionaries. So update text box value on all, and it's going to be key value dot string is text box, and we will add that method, and where did it go? Ooh. Okay. For each item in script.items, nope. Where is that? It's script. Yeah. Script dot script dot items dot items. Having to remember what I was doing. Yeah, script items. Oh, duh. Oh, I'm also going to need to know what's the key. Then the other thing is when I create a new one. Oh, the other thing is fix these errors. Yeah. Nope. I should probably. How do I do that? Okay, I'm getting confused here because of this static shit. What is cannot access non-static field script in static context? Okay, so I remove that. That's great, but then I get an error here. Cannot access non-static method in static context. They're all static. So why can't I access the script? I guess I've got items here. So I should just pass this on. That's probably... yeah, that's it. Okay, that should work. And then when I create new prefixes and items, etc., I need to make sure that I set this value as well. So check that. That worked. Good. But it didn't actually work because it's just a tall string. I need an actual text box. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I can fix that. Before I fix that, let me just do what I was going to do, where I add a new item. Needs to be the same. Oh, it is. Okay, good. Don't need to do that. But I delete that. Yes. All right, so not height. That's not what I need to do. I need to make it a text box. Do I have a text box? Text box. Nope. Let's see. Text box. Height equals 80. We'll default that. Text area. So I should call it text area. Bold is not a thing here. Oh, it is a thing. Okay, it's text area. Actually, it's not. I'm never going to use bold for text area. Oh, it is? It is. Huh. Okay, well, I thought... Oh, it's because I was searching for text box. Yes, should search for text area. Duh. Okay, so... if... then... we'll do text area. Else that and this does not matter. Does that work? No, doesn't seem to work. Maybe I'm doing it in the wrong area. Yep. Oh. So I do need a width here. Wait a minute. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Oh, probably in the wrong script. Yep. How come it's not? All right. Well, it's interesting that it displays it 3 times, but that's probably because it keeps overwriting. Why isn't it doing multiple rows? Let's see. Unity 3 text area. Do I really have to do all that? Why do I have to? Editor GUI layout. Use a GUI style word wrap. I didn't know that was a thing. Let's see. Let's see if that is indeed. Style, GUI style word wrap. So style. GUI layout option. This could be, whoops, this could be an old question. That's 12 months ago. Wait. Params, then options. So let me put style here. All right, so that might work. I'm gonna that should cause an error somewhere. Okay, undo. Just need to add this here. Okay. Good. Now if we turn this off, it goes to a normal string. If we turn this on, it goes to a text box. Good. Now, how many things did we touch in that one? That was a fair amount of scripts. So I'm just going to move. I think it was both of these. So I'm just going to export this whole thing. That should make it easier. Make sure I don't import things I don't want to import. So we're not going to do the README. We are going to do the scripts. We're going to do those. No README, no demo item. Yes, editor. Okay. So, errors. Oh, shit. Oh, my mistake. See, so all day today I've been doing the updates on the modules in the module. I didn't update it, the sprite, because I added get value sprite, fudgesicle. I never updated the game module. That's why I do it. I made a mistake before. Ah, man. All right. I'm going to have to time machine this one. So the script is the dictionary script. So dictionaries, reveal and finder. Let's go back. Time machine. Is that this? No. Which one's time machine? This? Yeah, inner time machine. There it is. All right. dictionaries, scripts. Go back to 1258. How to do it? Yep. Restore those two. So now I'm gonna have to replace them. Okay. So I'm gonna get errors for sure, because all these key values don't exist now. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take these two scripts, export these, dictionary, and so before I do that, did I change in this either of those dictionary? I don't, maybe I didn't change. I did change this. Okay, so I'm gonna have to re-add this value to key value. All right, let me import this. Ooh, and something in dictionary too. I'll just have to redo it. Okay, and then key value. All right. Now export this back. So this is like a mental note. I have to remind myself, if I make any updates to the modules, I have to do it in the modules, or I really should do it in the modules, because I might forget to move my changes over. All right, so that should work now. And now we have sprites in the dictionary, so that's cool. Gosh, but that means I probably didn't expose them. Okay, I might have to do more work after this live stream just to quickly get that back up to speed. Make sure the sprites are all exposed. All right, so where was I? Get back on track. Items, spells. I want the description to be that. And so now, there we go. That was the whole point. Plus 90 minutes plus, oops, 4 minutes per skill point. Okay. Okay. Copy this, and we'll do master. And this is going to be 5 and 0.75. So 5.7. Yeah, so I need to build a algorithm, whatever. I don't know what the right word is, but a system to do the computations so that it just shows the final value rather than all that. And this is 5.1. All right. Now, when we have feeble mind,
This will come in handy.
oh,
This will come in handy.
reduces targets by 1. Okay. So that didn't work. It should have worked. Let's figure out why. Wait. So it's definitely going to be cast on player. And I do that for all. Can cast on player, not party. Player. Aha. That could be why.
This will come in handy.
All right. Oh, okay. So this is this is somewhat good because it means we ran into an error with the stuff we just did earlier. No reference exception, so we're not getting something. So let me start that again because I think it's a cast, maybe the spell on deck. Let me just see. Let's just see. Okay. Let's double check that we can do the spell we know worked before.
This will come in handy.
Healing touch. Okay, so that worked. Good.
This will come in handy.
Oops, that's still healing touch. Feeble. Add more spell on deck actions there. Okay. So collapse. Alright, so where is, let's dig into this. Turn on particles. Oh. Where does the player live? Do they not have the particle attached? Player portrait. It doesn't. So that's it. I forgot to add that there. So prefabs, UI, player portrait. Open prefab. Get out of play mode. Open prefab. Player portrait. Add that. There we go. And okay. I didn't read my previous comments. What was? Oh, wait a minute. I just saw your previous comments. Please forgive me. Ah, I see, Jack. Sorry. Yes, you're right. I didn't. You totally caught me. And I missed the comment. I actually read the stuff after it. But I figured it out. All right, let's see. This should be the
This
feeble
will come in handy.
Still having the issue. Why? Why? Okay, it's got that there. Just want to see if I misspelled it somewhere or got some other similar issue. I think this is the longest stream I've done. I gotta pee. What's going on? All right. Try number 18,000.
This will come in handy.
Yes, it will. Didn't even give my debug. Why not? Oh, so the debug is before that. All right, so let's do this. That's what I should have done from the beginning, because of course it wouldn't get it. Duh, of course. How's the weather? Oh, it's warm today. Shoot. It's been cold recently, or not cold, but cooler, because of just the weather and the smoke maybe blocking the sun. But today is not smoky. All right, let's see. Inventory. Learn that
This
spell.
will come in handy.
Cast that spell. Okay, Feeble Mind. Particle name is Feeble Mind, but we're still not getting the particle. Spell, dictionary, get value, prefab, particle. Oh, duh. It's missing the prefab. It's missing the prefab. Do I want to... Yeah, so I said it has a prefab, but I don't give it the prefab. And that lives on, where does that live? Spell, particle prefab. Where's it live? It lives at spell, get value, prefab, portrait particle. Portrait particle. Get value, prefab. Wait a minute. What am I looking at? Portrait particle. Portrait particle. How come this is not breaking for the other one? For healing. Get value string. Spell, dictionary, get value string for portrait particle, healing. So healing is not null. Okay. Turn on particle. I mean, wouldn't it just be that? Right? I bet healing has it saved, because so one thing about the way the dictionary works is it might have more data, just not displaying it. So my guess is I used to specify the particle here. If I go up to dictionaries and expose the prefab, I bet that, yeah, it's right there. That's why. We don't want the prefab. We don't need the prefab exposed. So I changed that, but I didn't remove the object link beforehand. So that is why it worked for healing, but not feeble mind. All right, so
This will come in handy.
there it worked. Okay, but that particle doesn't work, and it still gains some error. Okay, it's with the give condition. All right, I'm gonna have to do this later because it's a warm day and it's been 4 hours. Let's see. RPG builder using global namespaces. Instantly breaking my character controller. Yeah, that is a shame though. I've been trying to get better at using namespaces properly so that I don't do that to people, because I never used to use namespaces. It wasn't that big of a deal to me. Just, none of my scripts were that intensive, but now, especially with modules, I'm getting better at that. So, hey everyone, thank you for participating and helping. Jason, thank you. Jack, thank you. Michael, thank you. Engage, thank you for engaging online here. And Terrence, thank you. Brian, thank you. Everyone, thank you for participating. It's been fun. It's been a good 4 hours. I'm going to go outside and enjoy some non-smoky air and 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So have a good one.